Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Blissful Chaos. So in today's video I'm going to show you how an amateur can bake a cake. I've been meaning to make this cake on Easter, but since we had just moved I didn't have that kind of time. So I saw this cake on one of the YouTubers channel which almost seemed like a bird's nest, and they used Nestle's mini eggs as the eggs of the birds. So I want to give that a try. So there'll be two parts to this whole procedure. One is baking the base, which is the chocolate cake that I'm going to make. If you have a mold, which is like a bundt cake mold, you can definitely use that. That's the best option because it gives you that shape of a nest. I don't have that mold, so I'm going to use my regular circular mold, and what my plan is to maybe cut off the center part of it and decorate it in such a way that it looks like a nest, and cooling that off and making the chocolate ganache, which I have made just once. But I'm going to try it again and hopefully it works. And I'll also share the recipe in the description box below. And let's see if it's going to be a hit or a miss. So first things first, I've accumulated all my ingredients in front of me. I'll definitely give the recipe in the description box below. Now, few things that I'm going to do for the preparation. One is preheating your oven, which is must. So in this case, the preheating would be done at 340 Fahrenheit. The other thing which I'm going to do is prep my cake mold, so oiling them. And I have my measuring cups and my measuring spoons as well. So let's get started. Also, the key to making any kind of cake, any baking, be it a cake or your muffins, even if you're making something which is with eggs, everything needs to be at room temperature. Also, the bakers suggest to sift your flour and cocoa powder, any kind of powder material that you're using, even your sugar for that matter, that makes your cake more lighter in weight. So I have my dry ingredients, which is 1.5 cup of flour, cocoa powder, baking soda, salt in here. I'm just going to give it a stir so that if there are any lumps, I'll just try to smash them. Give it a nice mix, and then I'm going to add my wet ingredients. And did you see my mixing spoon? It has a small smiley with specks. Isn't it cute? So now I'm going to add 1/3 cup of oil, 1 cup of water into this. Start mixing. Now usually they advise you to add the dry ingredient of your flour to the wet ingredient in 2 to 3 portions at least, but as I mentioned, I'm just gonna do it all in one bowl. Make sure there are no lumps in your batter. This looks fine to me now, so I'm going to pour it into my mold. So now I'm just waiting for my oven to be hot, and once it is hot, I'm going to put this in. So my cake will be done in another few seconds. So I've baked it for almost 45 minutes. So I've taken out my cake from the oven, and let's see if it's done. So if you can see, it has come out clean. That means the cake is baked. So I'm going to let it cool and start my preparation for chocolate ganache frosting. So that's almost 1 cup there, and let me seal this off and start with our cream on the stove. So my pan is a little warm already. I'm going to pour in 1 cup of cream, and I'm hoping this is sufficient for what I'm planning to do. And why I'm doing it all this at the same time is because while the cake is cooling, I will have to also make sure that this ganache is cooled off, because initially when the consistency will be formed will be almost like a dripping consistency, so you can use it like a ganache, and then you'll have to let it sit for almost 4 to 5 hours minimum or overnight to use it as a frosting. So I don't know if you can see, but it has started to bubble, and I'm just going to take it off the gas. So I'm just going to pour it on my chocolate. At this point in time, we don't have to do anything. What I'm going to do is just let it sit for at least 5 minutes. So I've started my timer for 5 minutes, and after 5 minutes I'll just give the chocolate chips and the cream a stir so that all the chocolate is melted off and there is no lump. After that, I'll again wrap it up with the plastic cling film and leave it for another 5 hours minimum. Once it's cooled off, only then I'll start decorating my cake. So it's been 5 minutes, so I'm going to just give the chocolate chips and the cream a stir. Fingers crossed that it works. Okay, awesome. So if you can see, the chocolate chips have melted. So all we have to do at this stage is just mix them well so that there's no lumps and there's no chocolate which is, hard. They're all mixed well together. Alright, so it's been several hours and I did keep my whipped cream in the refrigerator and also my cake in the refrigerator. Now I've taken them out. So if you see, my cream is not set, like the mix of the chocolate chip and the whipped cream, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed and hoping that when I whip it, it should harden up a little. So it's done. If you see, if I'm picking it up, it's forming a peak, and I'm going to fill it up in my piping bag now. So I use disposable plastic piping bags. It's easy to just use them and throw them off. So I'm just going to put my wood in there. And just by the use of scissors, I'm going to cut it off a little. I'll settle it in. I'm going to use and lock this up and just twist it around. Push it in. So let me cut my cake from the center. I'm just unwrapping it and going to take it out from the mold. So I don't have anything to cut a circular center. So what I'm going to do is use a glass to find a shape and maybe use it to just push it down if I can. If not, then I'm going to just use a knife. Alright, so my cake is ready and my icing is ready. So it's obviously not completely done, but I thought I'll just fill it up, the center part, with some frosting and some eggs and see how it's looking. Oh my god, I'm so in love with this. Just like that. my cake is looking like from all over. I think it's cute for the first attempt. Let me cut it and show it to you guys. And the first piece, my husband is gonna taste it. I hope he likes it. He's eagerly waiting for me to cut it. I hope you guys like this video. Please like, subscribe and share, and stay tuned for the next coming video.